Welcome everyone to the Talk to Me United podcast, the same podcast talking about Manchester United tactics. My name is Andy, and on the opposite side of the screen is Ali. This is our Everton and Crystal Palace review. Sorry, our Everton review was delayed with the Thanksgiving holiday and family commitments. We just ran out of time last week. So we'll break down all the goals, the stats, looking ahead at our Thursday game with West Ham and the rest of the festive period. Finally, we will discuss, United has now seen Baleba, Anderson, Wharton, Ali, and this I will discuss who should United go after. If it's all one, two, three, none. We'll break it down in our opinion. So, Ali, how are you feeling after these two matches?
Yeah, it's like such a contrast of games, right? More so out of the outcome, but if I start with that Everton performance, oh man, I was ill watching. Like I was not feeling well, right? And then I was watching this, and it was making me worse. And I didn't think I could get like more ill. Um, that performance just reminded me of the old United. And if I look at like our lineup, we the only player we really had on the outfield was Mbumo, right? And that's probably why it reminded me of what it was like last season. Like the going down to ten men was a shock, I think, for like everyone on the pitch. Like I don't know why the players they didn't use that. They didn't use it as an advantage. If anything, Everton used it as an advantage. Everton played a really good game before that, and then after the red card, it was just great defense. But we were so slow with passing. Against 10 men, you're supposed to move the ball from side to side, tire them, and then, get a mistake. I don't know why. I feel like Delict, or we should have had more presence in the box. I feel like Delict should have gone in the box earlier than he did, and he ended up getting a couple of opportunities there. A lot of people were hating on Xerxes. Yeah, he's not a Manchester United caliber player, really, but a couple of chances he had, he did his best, but that's not good enough, for United. I thought it was just so lackluster, and I think, man, I don't know what Kobe was doing. Kobe's so lost, and it's breaking my heart. He's, I feel like this is one of those games when you're playing against 10 men. He has that bit of quality to have a shot. I think he did a good shimmy, and I was like, oh my god, that's his ability, right? But he just didn't do it enough, and he almost looks like he doesn't want to really be out there, which is heartbreaking. And when he does get these opportunities, he's not taking them. I'm like, it's a system issue. I think it's an attitude issue more from a confidence. I think he's just lacking confidence, and that's kind of affecting his attitude. Um, he's still so young, so yeah, I think he just needs to understand the moment a bit more. Like, okay, I have 45 minutes. It's 10 men, and I think that everyone should have just taken more risks. Bruno Fernandez is our only ball playing player. And yeah, I just think the team against Everton didn't take enough risks. We're at Old Trafford, and I don't understand why they're not taking risks against 10 men. They didn't really have that much pace, so I just found it really frustrating. And yeah, how did you feel about it?
So, a couple points there. See, this is the whole point why I hate international breaks because it looked like the team never played with each other. Like they were just like so off with like passes, linking up plays. Like he seems so sloppy. And I thought that playing the game on Monday, having that extra game because most players will come back Wednesday, Thursday. You have training on Friday. Saturday, Sunday. At least walk through, go through the tactics, etc. That they will be fine with it. But damn, they look like they didn't do anything. And this is why I hate international breaks. You know, We lost against City. We won against Liverpool, but now that Liverpool's like lost like so many games, it's just more like an asterisk on our play after international break, and now this. So that's why thank God we're not playing international break until March, that we could find our rhythm and stuff. But yeah, it just shows how disjointed and especially how thin the quality of the squad is. As without Cunha and Sesko, the team just looked lost, like pretty bad. And I also think like again, this is where the and Ineos needs to back the manager and get better quality players that fits his system. It Watching Everton just like shows the double pivot, and especially with at Palace, and we'll discuss that later. The pivot with Bruno and Case can only take us so far. That once you get outrun, we're literally defending on our back three, and if it wasn't for the back three being good as they are, we'd be giving up more goals and stuff. So I feel like the back three has been on point and has saved us a lot of games. And then now having Lamens back in goal is like a confidence booster instead of Bindier. Um, and two more points, but basically, I said how Cunha could have waited till next season and just used the money for somebody else, but just losing his progression and carries from the ball just shows like how badly he was missed. And whoever's the one that got him injured and put him in concussion protocol needs to get two-footed. I'm sorry. And the point about Kobe, I thought you'd bring it on, and I just wanted to ask you this as a, you know, British, national and England supporter. I feel like there's a culture change in England that, especially amongst the national team, because back in like the early 2000s, right, most of the players put club over country. I feel like this generation of players putting country over club, because then you're seeing all the rumors and noise that are coming out of Kobe that he needs to start or else he's going on loan because he wants to play in the World Cup, right? And it's like yes, you're not getting your fair shot or or quality time to get onto the pitch in the system under Ruben, but at least when you're on the pitch, show something. And I feel like that he's not showing us anything. I don't know. We can only blame so much about the system. It's like, dude, live with it. Ruben plays in a two midfield. With it, you have the skills and technical ability because you're so young and talented. You can face through the adversity. And I feel like he's not trying to do that, or I don't know what's going behind the scene, but I felt like, he's not taking his chances, but you can't complain about you want to go play for England if you're not taking your chances. Because you has a chance to bench Casemiro if he works more defensively, if he, does more of the shimmies and stuff. And I feel like the only player that's doing this, like other than Delit and stuff, Luke Shaw. Yes, he had a rocky start, but the man's playing his head off, trying to get Tuchel to get him onto the squad for World Cup. Like I'll give him props because you know what? At least he looks better. He's fit. He's putting his body on the line. He's playing for the badge. Whether if it's playing for the badge or getting into the World Cup, at least he's doing something and it's helping United. I don't feel the same thing when it comes down to Kobe.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an interesting point. Country over club. I think the big difference from like the 2000s and maybe probably when Gareth Southgate took over is that you don't have to be playing at a top club to be in the England team, in the England starting 11, right? Like Wharton, Anderson, they're out of these top six clubs. I think Kobe's kind of seen that high, like he played at the European Championship finals. He started, right? To go from that to not being in the squad entirely, I think he's kind of seen his level and he's like, I'm at that level. You were at that level when you were playing for, Eric Ten Hag in a completely different system. But again, that doesn't negate your ability, especially when you play against 10 men. Like, you've got so much, you've got space, but you've got
You got time.
yeah, you got the time and that pocket of space that you like to play in anyway. Right, it's going to be easier because there's going to be one less man on the field, show your ability. Like he's just not showing his ability, and it's I don't want to get onto him too much, but it's just we have a midfield puzzle, and we got a really talented midfielder, and it's just not the puzzle's not puzzling. So you know, the other thing is his distribution is just it's not our level. Casemiro's distribution. I actually think when Casemiro leaves, he's gonna leave a hole. He's gonna leave a hole because his distribution. I'm telling you, him and Bruno are the only guys that can distribute the ball. Mount can do it from like a higher position. Again, I don't know what it's like deeper, but like Bruno was playing that six against Everton, and we needed him further up. We really needed him further up, man. Casemiro getting that yellow like really annoyed me. I would have preferred to Casemiro to stay on, like if he wasn't on the yellow. The
Right.
fact that he was on the yellow, he had to go because when you're playing
Because
against
he's
ten
very
men,
sloppy. He's very sloppy these
yeah,
days with
yeah,
his tackling.
yeah. So I think we would have done better if he wasn't on the yellow because I would have allowed Bruno to push up and Mainu. Obviously he didn't do anything, but yeah, I we have a problem with breaking down low blocks. This system, like I have not seen how we break down low blocks effectively. We've got good build up play, and we've got great triangles on the wings. I think that's where I've seen the progression under this team. But against low blocks, I don't see it. Like from the goal kicks up to Sesko, whoever, knockdowns, great second balls, trying to find that. And like I said, the triangles from the sides, but breaking down a low block, if we're not just crossing it in from Sesko, I know we get, either Luke Shaw or Euro, those outside centre backs to come in and deliver the balls. Yeah, I just don't think we're I think with Cunha, Casemiro, and Bruno, they can play like one touch passes, which is better against a low block. They have that technical ability to do that, and we have seen that. None like there was just no evidence against Everton on and I think the mark of a good team is if you can play against the low block. It shows how much creativity you have. I think the biggest thing was when what's Jurgen Klopp bought Thiago, right, from Bayern. He was like, we need to solve playing against the low block. That didn't work out. Yeah, different teams have different ways of breaking them down, and I just don't see this United team effective against a low block, which is really worrying.
I just found it weird that we kept playing out of the back against Everton. I thought we would start doing like long balls and get it up to the top and like try to disrupt there and just get like a situation where either Keane or whoever, Trapkowski, can come out and get dislodged from it, and then you could go like underlap under them. I thought we could do that, but we didn't. So I thought that was kind of like weird from our perspective that we just kept on trying to play from the back, progress the ball. But I think we could discuss that when we talk about our midfield like stuff because I've seen Ruben's system is based on playing out the back and you're having your effective wing backs. Okay, and I feel like other than Ahmad, we don't have quality to if he's injured or when he goes to Cup of Nations, we don't have a backup there, and the left side is just disjointed because I feel like I don't want to call it a sophomore slump for Patrick just yet because he just joined us in January. He's not even been here a full year, a full season, so I can't even say it's like a sophomore slump. And then Delo on the left hand side is just like you can it's a bare minimum of getting by. So, we could talk about that later with regards to that. But other than that, I feel like that game was just like everybody lost that weekend. We could have gotten into a good position, at least with a draw. We could have gotten a good position with a draw. We've been better for a win, but that was just a wasted opportunity. And I kind of think that leads us into where we are with Crystal Palace of like This is where one game a week helps. Crystal Palace played on Thursday. I don't think the EPL helped. I don't think the Premier League helped them out by putting the game at 12 p.m. UK time, 7 a.m. Eastern here. That's like what I think it was like they gave them 64 hours after their Thursday night game in the Conference League. You know, so I feel like the second half of that of Crystal Palace shows where one game a week helps, and that once we start facing the teams who are playing in Europe in the second half of the season and stuff, we might have a chance of edging one out. But I think my high level thoughts for Crystal Palace is that first, I don't think that was a penalty because everybody and their moms was slipping on falling on that side of the pitch, and I felt like Euro just slipped and Mateta just like sold it, like flop and just sold it really bad to get that penalty. I think it's just a clash. It's a slip, but it is what it is. This is part of the game. Fine. I thought we were playing well. I did was getting annoyed about them start using the long ball and chucking it to Big Zeke. You know, Big Zeke out there as a target man, and then he was just being like very sloppy with the ball. So I didn't like that. I felt like that wasn't his game. It was just weird to just see that because he's not Sesko, so he doesn't have. I don't think he has the technical ability to do that target man stuff. Like your point you said before, he scores nice goals, right? But it's not consistent enough to be like a Manchester United player. I feel like the Premier League is a little bit too physical and fast paced for him that either Serie A or Bundesliga would probably be on his level. If he really wanted to be quote unquote competitive, maybe I think it's called McDonald's now. It's still McDonald's League Un or La
Farmers
Liga.
League. I mean, it's a bit harsh
Yeah,
thing as they won the Champions League.
right. And then finally, I just think that, like we said, I was saying they playing well, and then I like how Ruben tactically switched instead of going through the middle, playing the target man. He went out through the flanks and just having the ball, the wing backs play with it, coming in, giving Xerxes the ball so he as like the deep lying forward, and then he could distribute it out, and then yes, set piece FC comes through the clutch again. But let's just look at the positives with that. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Palace was a better performance the second half. The first half was, wasn't the best. Like the goal. Oh, I'm gonna break down the goal, but so that second half, I really liked Mount's mobility. I think he should have started against Everton. Really, I didn't. I think Diallo has to play wing back. I don't think I can understand why you would do it. You put Mazraoui there, and then you put Diallo in that 10, but you got to use Mount like if he's available. You know, try get at least 60 minutes out from him. But I really enjoyed him like just like having that bit of energy that helped Bruno and Cass. It's like the small things. I think Bruno went down sort of injured, and I think he was just like rubbing his leg or something. Like well, we weren't sure if he was injured or not, and like Mount was just like checking on him, making sure like, oh, you want me to cover? And Bruno was like, no, I'm fine.
I think
So
he got hit with the
you know,
ball. That's why he got stinged pretty bad with a ball that hit his hammy.
right, right, and I just like that from Mount because I think that's his one of his best assets. I thought his movement was good. Yeah, it's a little annoying that we scored from two set pieces, but this was more about getting the win than like the performance. And we're missing Sesko and Cunha, so it's just about getting over the line. I thought we kind of managed the game a little better. It kind of reminded me of when we won against Sunderland and Brighton. We just about managed the game. So, this team can kind of manage the game. And if you look back at Fulham and Brentford, right? We lost those two, and we drew against Fulham. But like
Mm-hmm.
away from home, we weren't really doing well, and we got over the line. So, We picked up some points from London. But it's just it's yeah, it wasn't the best performance, but that win really helps. It really helps in the standings, keeps us in the mix. If I'm gonna be honest, like right now, we don't look like a Champions League team. Right, we just don't. Like right now, we got West Ham and Wolves to come up. They have to win those games. I think that's gonna tell us a lot about like whether they are professional. But it just don't look like a like I think if Palace hadn't played midweek, I think we're drawing that game, or I don't know, worse, right? We I think they were tied. They were really tied in our second half, right?
Mhm.
And we weren't. So yeah, it's taken advantage of that. But I mean, we eventually want to get to playing in Europe. So like,
I
okay, let's
mean,
take it one step at a time. Like we're using the advantage of that 3 weeks, so it's coming to fruition. And yeah, like you said, the further we get on in the season, they're going to be like half the top, like 9 teams in the Premier in Europe, right? So we'll have that advantage again. But yeah, it was like a decent performance. I think it was somewhat professional. Two set pieces. I don't like set piece goals
yeah, we
personally.
can't be hypocrites because we make fun of Arsenal for it.
It's like, yeah, like, but like the way Arsenal do it, it's like methodical, right? Ours is lucky. I feel like ours is lucky. Like,
So I
that's
disagree
what
with
I.
you with that because I feel like Arsenal, their set pieces are their only goals that win games, right? Like this is like the only game that I could think of that we scored set pieces to win a game. I feel like other games we've scored a set piece, from a corner or whatever, but then we score another goal.
No, like the Lick scored that last minute header. Tottenham.
That was a
Sesko
draw,
scored the opening.
right? Our
Yeah,
Liverpool
I don't
goals
know.
were our
Yeah, yeah.
Liverpool goals wasn't both, set pieces.
Well,
Because I feel
Maguire
like
scored the winner, right? He scored the.
he scored the winner, yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is like I don't I feel like this is why I've told our favorite Arsenal mutual friend all the time that Arsenal's using out their good luck early in the season to win these games with set piece FC. That when the games do come heavy and hard after the festive period, January, February, you're going to need that magic. And if you use it off at the beginning of the season,
I don't agree with that. I think they're doing well for not having like half their attackers out, and I think what like watching Arsenal, like they slow the game down. They're like resting, and then they just hit you with a set piece. I was so impressed by Chelsea, man. I was so impressed. Before Caicedo got sent off, that's the most impressive team I've seen play against Arsenal. Um,
besides us,
besides, but that was opening weekend. Like I don't think like
but let's be fair. Not everyone can beat Chelsea with 10 men.
what I thought was really clever was I think it got highlighted after the game. Chelsea played three guys up top when Arsenal were having a set piece, which meant they had to bring some defenders back at the halfway line. And then, I mean, Sanchez is like a good keeper, like catching from corners anyway. That's like one of his good traits. So I thought that was interesting, and I was like, I wonder why more teams don't do that. Chuck some like fast guys at the halfway line. That means they can't overpopulate the box. But I was very impressed by Chelsea, man. That was a
Yeah,
good performance. I didn't realize they had that in them, to be honest.
I hope this stalls out. Arsenal. This is the start
Like
of
you
the
eyeing them
demise.
up with what? What? We 9 points behind.
Hey, 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 hey! After 13 games, we're 21 points. 21 is incoming. Also, too, I've seen the stat of like, what is it? The most points somebody ever come back, and it's happened a couple of times. It's 8 points. So if Uniteds are within like 8 points, After Christmas, it's coming.
Oh my god. I think we dropped eight points. We were the team, man. It was
No,
when
we didn't drop the
we
points. We've come back. We've come back and we win the
but
league
we've also
twice.
lost from 8 points, haven't we? Like when
No,
Fellaini scored for Everton.
no, we
Yeah.
haven't. We were not on that. Like we lost. Like Liverpool, Blackburn,
Oh
Newcastle.
wow.
Those were on the teams that had a lead and then they lost it.
Oh, wow.
So I'm just saying, like 8 points is the cutoff. If you're 8 points back, you still have a chance. 8 points or less. Sorry, 8 points or less, you still have a chance. So I'm telling you, after Christmas, let's see what happens, and let's go. Because I'll
What was
just
your prediction? Your prediction was United and Arsenal. The next time they play, it's gonna be first versus second.
you never know. We got 9 more games. No wait, 10.
Uh,
We played 8 more games for that, so we could see. You never know.
mate, Arsenal are gonna get Gyökeres, Jesus, and Havertz back, and you're gonna see a different team.
Eucharist is yeah. Coventry reject is going to freaking win them the league. Get the
Well,
hell out.
we haven't seen Havertz play. We haven't seen Jesus play. Like, the reason why that's shocking to me is without Cunha and Sesko, our drop off is crazy.
Yeah, because we don't have the squad, and that's what I was going to try to lead into. Like, at least if we get in that point and we do get like that midfielder, like there's a lot of talk that Connor Gallagher might come for 26 million pounds, €30 in January,
I don't want to buy him.
or
Loan. I want a loan.
Yao Gomez from Wolves. Get somebody in the midfield. We
And then
should
get
be.
Semenyo.
You might go to Liverpool at this point. You might go to Liverpool. Um, and also I want to finish it with this with more positivity. Is that I saw a tweet that um, this was the first win in 10 matches when United has been losing at halftime. So this just shows what we've talked about before. Like little things are changing. That this is a quote unquote different team. Yes, we do have hiccups. Quote unquote Everton, Brentford. You know, 2 games that we should have won that was really bad. Um, but we do have it in us to change the game, and we've seen this like mentality change. They're not dropping points, they're not losing, that type of thing. And then this is the first loss for Palace. The first loss for Palace at home in 12 matches, and this is our first win since 2020 at Palace. So Palace has been a boogeyman team for the past few years now. So just looking at the positives that we're in it. Like what Lori and everybody has said, and now it's coming on to fruition that the goal is European place, especially like Europa, if Champions League. So if the baseline bare minimum is Europa League, we're already there. Like we just have to find a level of consistency to stay in this range. And I feel like this team can do it barring any injuries, and then if you get some backing in January, because I don't think we can wait till summer to get a midfielder. I feel like a midfielder needs to be done in January. Loan, whatever it may be, something needs to come in because you're going to burn out but you're going to burn out Cats if you're not going to trust Menu, Ugarte. I don't even know who else is on the bench for the midfield
No,
at
I
that point.
agree. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you get one midfielder in. You're yeah. I think depending on how quick that player adapts, you want to push for that fifth, sixth spot. Um,
That's why it
it's
has to be
just
Premier League proven. It
yeah,
can't be like, Stiller or somebody who's not in the Premier League. That's
yeah.
summer. This has to be, Connor, Yao Gomez. You pony up the money and get Anderson. Pony up the money, get Baleba.
Nah,
Who,
they're not.
who
They're not.
that's right. Penny pinchers. But we'll discuss that when we get to the midfield. But any other
Yeah,
thoughts before we jump into the highlights,
yeah. No, it's
goals? Anything else you
all
want to break
good.
down? So as Ali's bringing this up, like I said, we are working with Y Scout and Huddle to get all the Premier League clips.
So this is us playing out of the back, and you can see we have this triangle of Mazrari, Bruno, and Mbumo. And as we continue this, I remember this is 11v11. Delict has a look, and now if you see, Mazraoui is in the half space, and Mbumo's now gone out to the wingback position. Delict is gonna ping this out to Mbumo. He's gonna play this 1-2 with Mazraoui. So this was me just going back to talking about this is what we're effective at, is playing like in the middle, but the low block is the the question of this team. But playing and creating chances like this, the players are like well coached. And here Mbumo's got that chance to slide it into Xerxes, who can slide it into Dorgu. Ahmad's just straight offside, but previously he could have played it to Ahmad. He can still see if he can find that way to Dorgu. He doesn't opt for either of them, and ends up being a slap in the face for Michael Keane after Bruno has his shot.
Against Everton, we had freaking England version of James Pickford. I was like, where are you making all these slaves? I was like, dude, where's like the sloppy, drop pass, like I'm gonna like stuff. Like he just comes out and just like things that he's freaking England and stuff. It's like we had to face England Pickford. Like that was just bollocks. No, that's a good point. And yeah, I think I think the previous clip what you showed, it just shows that it's not the system because the system is there to create chances. It's just the players not taking the advantage of it. And I'm just like tired of seeing Twitter and all that kind of stuff of like movement system, blah blah blah. But you're not creating chances if you don't have the opportunity to. And to do that 1-2 play, come out and stuff, and just having, what was that? Xerxes, Ahmad, and then eventually Patrick there. That's three attacking players plus Brian. That's four attacking players going into the box. And that's just pure decision making by Brian that, he should have done better, but at least the system is there creating that opportunity and you have four men in the box. So it's like these Twitter accounts and everybody needs to chill the F out about the system and putting players into it. I think the system is there creating chances.
Yeah, I think the system creates chances, but not in a low block. That's what I'm not seeing the system work well in a low block. And a lot of people are like, why is he still playing three at the back against 10 men? You know, there there are other examples where on other tactical accounts where they were saying, oh, Luke Shaw should have been like overlapping and being a lot higher than he was, and you know it's just Delict could have gone up top, more presence in the box. I just didn't think we were taking that risk enough against a low block, and that's against 10 men. So if you're not going to take risks against 10 men, I don't know what you're doing. And I think that I can kind of see is more of a system issue. But it's taken a while for us to have a playing style. That's what I'm happy about. So when I just showed that previous chance, that's us having a playing style. This is the Everton goal. 10-man Everton coming out, and they were really playing well, and Drewbury pulls in this half space, and this is what you're gonna get from Bruno. He's not a number 8. He might be wearing a number 8. He can't tackle. He's just not, a very great tackler. That's not his skill set. And this is again, and Yoro's been going through it. Last couple of games. He needs to clean a tackle here. he just gets it wrong. He doesn't get enough weight on that tackle, and it's an absolute banger. It's well, I think Le Mans could have done better, but it was quite powerful. But yeah, I think Lenny Yoro's just having a bit of a difficult time. Obviously, gave away the penalty against Palace, which we'll go through, and he's not been playing the best. But I'm not really that worried. I think his skill set is really important in this back three. I really think Shaw should have been pushing up, and you have Yoro's pace. You have Yoro's pace, and you've got Delict's, just like kind of like dog mentality of just like clearing everything and scrapping. So well, I think we could have utilized Yoro a bit better. But yeah, that was the goal we conceded. What are your thoughts?
It just shows the limitations of once Bruno slash Casemiro gets passed through, broken down. It's all left on the 3, 5 defenders in whatever situation it is. Sometimes even 2 defenders. It's upon them, and this is just a glaring hole of Ineos. Wilcox, all you guys got to look at getting a midfielder here because I feel like this was just a cheap goal. Like I like it, yes, I like how James Gardner passed it off, like Grealish was being nice, etc. to Hall, but they just got the opportunity and took it, and just that space. It's just that we need a real like true number 6 ball winning midfielder that would just like take you down to get a yellow, but like just get the ball away and just shut it down and then bring it out. Um, and yeah, I think Lemens was should have done better with it. I think this may be his weakness. Is like some of the goals. It's like a little bit soft. Like he should have been better. But I feel like this is just because it's not. He's not like he's off. It's not like the ball's in the net. Then he like jumps down and makes a move. Right. He's not slow to react. I just feel like the timing is a little bit off, and I feel like that's just him trying to understand the Premier League, the pace of the ball, etc. So I think like another couple of seasons, I feel like these goals that are happening now wouldn't be goals in the future.
Yeah, I think it's probably more like his strength of his hands. I think
Right.
maybe yeah, his timing isn't off. Which we've come from a couple of keepers that timing has been like really off, and
Really.
his timing isn't that off. Just like strength, I think, and maybe reading. But yeah, this is the Crystal Palace build up to the penalty, and you got Wharton here. Look at this, right foot, and then bang, left foot, first time completely bypasses that midfield. Casemiro and Bruno, they're gone. It's into Sarr, and you can see Mateta's making the run off of him. And yeah, that was Adam Morton. And then Mateta comes in, gets blocked out. They recycle it, and you're gonna see it's gonna end up with Wharton down here, and he's got 2 players on him. He's got Bruno and Mbumo. He's sandwiched in between them, and he still finds this ability to progress the ball into Mateta, into that space. Like, I'm telling you, we need Wharton. Go get me Wharton. Baller. So, he finds this ball into Mateta, and there's a foul here. I think Euro's in between, covering for Ahmad and as well as, kind of cover Mateta. The other thing I want to highlight here is you got 3 Crystal Palace players here. You got Saar, the midfielder, and then Munoz against 3 United players. Like this is kind of like what we want to do to teams as well, right? And Palace playing at the same formation. So just wanted to highlight that part again. Euro, yeah, that is a penalty. He does catch him. Um, so yeah, I think from front to back, Adam Wharton, baller. Like his distribution is great, and it's the fact that he's doing these first time that just unsettles any midfield, any defense. So Yeah, I just wanted to highlight that because, like you said, we've seen Anderson, we've seen Warren, and we've seen Baleba.
So
So
before we, but basically, you just have to answer me this right now because I'm trying to formulate my argument because I know we're going to disagree. Is Wharton a true number six or an eight?
I think Warren is a ball playing. I think he could play the number eight.
But you want him as a six.
So like I haven't seen his long range passes,
Mm-hmm.
but so how I always look at it, you've got Xavi Alonso and you've got like Makaleli or Kante, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got someone who could distribute the ball and play from a deeper role and link play, or you've got like a disruptor, goes around the pitch and puts tackles in and things like that. I don't think Wharton is like mobile like that. I think he's a good progressor of the ball and passes. That's what I think his strength is at. And we need both, right? I think the more urgent problem is someone that's a mobile. I would prefer like a mobile six, like as opposed to like that mobile eight that's like jumping from box to box because
Like Rice.
like yeah. I would rather have Caicedo in this team than Rice because we just need that player that's
Mm-hmm.
protecting the back line and that can get like up and down. He doesn't need to go too high up. I think you
Okay.
leave that for the other midfielder.
Okay.
Um,
So
but
I'm
I think
taking down.
Wharton is that.
I'm taking mental notes down because we're going to disagree with this when we get to it later. But
What do you think Wharton is?
no, let's save it. Let's save it
Okay, okay,
because
okay.
I have to bring up a tweet because it's the points you're highlighting, but it's for my argument. The spoiler: if we want a true number six, it's not Wharton. If we want him as an eight, then we could talk about it, but not as a six. Because I'll just spoiler alert. It's like I cannot see. I think that if we were saying that Adam Wharton is going to replace Casemiro in the lineup next season, okay, say that we bring in Wharton as the heir to Casemiro, like he's like the new Casemiro, right? We're still gonna have the same issues we have now.
Yeah, I agree. I think the replacement for Casemiro, and you highlighted it, is Anderson. That's the replacement.
Okay, we'll talk about it because
Yeah.
yeah, but about this clip, like you said, is right. We the same formation and stuff, but the only thing that's different is that you saw that how Wharton and the other defender, his the Japanese guy,
Yeah.
Ada, they're on the same length. They're like in that pivot zone where they go together, but they're not far apart compared to where Bruno and Cass is in our system, because Ruben wants to play Bruno more further up, leaving to where Casemiro is isolated. So it's not like they're getting help, and I feel like this is the key difference between our system and what Crystal Palace's system is that Morton and Kameda are together most of the time close where they can do this and it's like you know what Wharton can have the time and doesn't have to go on the defensive to do these nice passes. But props to him. I see, you know, what they say. You know, we'll get to it where I put him on my list out of the three, but let's just say that he's not a six. That's it.
This is the goal, and you know, we're like the second set piece FC at this point. But
Tied. Tied.
let me tell you, this to score from here on your left foot, wow, pure technique, pure techers. Man like Xerxes, that's crazy. That is a crazy finish. Like you even see the ball like swerve into the side netting. That is like an unreal finish. And you gotta you know give props to Xerxes. That's a goal he shouldn't be scoring, but does, and he's been in other situations, where he does score um goals that he should finish. But like, I don't think he's a natural goal scorer, but he does have technique, and I think he probably just doesn't fit the system. And I think you made a really good point. Like in Germany, in Italy, or Spain, he would do a lot better just because you know it's not as intense, but take nothing away from this goal. This is a crazy technique. Yeah. So I mean, if Erling Haaland is scoring that, or any of those other strikers, like people are gonna go crazy over this. Like this is a beautiful strike of a football.
As the great Bugsy Malone says, the Nina win bang bang. Dude, I I just love how he just like throws his guns up in the air after he scores a goal. And that's the only thing I can think of is that line from Big from Bugsy. I was like, yes.
The
Look,
most iconic one was against Arsenal when he knocked them out of the FA Cup.
exactly.
Crazy.
And he had to double clip. He had to put an extra clip in that. Bro, look, Xerxes was getting killed all game. I didn't see anything with him at that point because of the whole target forward position. But yeah, he scores these types of goals. I just wish he could be better clinically because he's not a bad player. And I
Yeah.
feel like he is the perfect player for a low block because you can have him come out and we'll show it in the stats of like you can have him hang out in the midfield or like the top of the box and have your wingers and your two number 10s go, past him and he could slip that ball
But
against the low block. But it's not like I feel like, maybe we would have seen it if Cunha was there, but I feel like he is a good player to have, but I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's not a low block he's good at. He's good in transition, but
Right.
not in like yeah, he's good in transition from the counter, but also in build up because he can drop and then he can ping a pass out. But
Right.
I mean, some of his passes like are ridiculously good or ridiculously bad. He doesn't have like a good consistent level.
And his touch is horrible at times.
No, but sometimes his touch is really good. Like ask Saliba that. Like absolutely murked him. But
But in this game against
also,
Palace, his touch was like pretty bad in the first,
yeah,
especially in the first half.
that's the thing with Xerxes. Like he doesn't, and I think it's probably he's like Mainu, right?
Right.
It's consistency. He hasn't had enough playing time, but there's a good player in there. Like when he got injured last season, that was detrimental for us, because he was playing really well last season, even after that really difficult Newcastle game. But for a low block, he needs to play off someone because I think I heard like Gary Neville talk about it on his podcast. Like you need to occupy the centre backs when you play a low block, and the strikers aren't really gonna get you the goal. It's the people that are gonna be in the box, but the strikers are occupying the centre backs. Then you have someone like an Ahmad or a Dorgu or a Mainu that is gonna find some space if you occupy the centre backs. And I think he's that guy that if Sesko and Cunha were like occupying players, he can kind of link and find some space. So I think he plays better with probably like if Sesko was there, like I think he played better with him. Um, and yeah, I think he's decent at linking play, but yeah, he's low block by himself. No, he's not. He's not a target guy.
Yeah. I was basically saying just using him as what we were talking about, like having him drop deep, get the ball, feed it out to try to beat the low block. Because if you suck everyone in, you're going to have a man to get an opportunity to chuck it out wide. Because you know what? If he fit it, if this is going to be a big thing, type of thing to say, but he has technical ability if he learns how to finish and be more clinical in the striker to be like Harry Kane. Because Harry Kane turns into like that, you know, comes out deep and can turn and stuff. Like he has the
There's
skills to do
levels,
it.
man. No, like Kane is world class at doing that. I
Right, but it
don't.
took him a while to get there. Like this is like
No, I think it was very
2014,
natural for Kane to do that. I think he.
2014, 2015. I feel like Poch didn't play him like that. That it was when Mourinho came in, then that took him to the next levels of coming into more deep and then pinging the balls out.
Yeah,
And then now he's just continuing that in the Bundesliga.
I think Kane has. I think Kane is more two-footed than Xerxes,
Fair.
and I think his technique is better than Xerxes. And I think Xerxes got good technique. I think he, yeah, it's consistency, and some of his passes are like
Right.
cutting through teams. So like, and I get what you're saying with Kane because Kane does that. Kane to me, dude, he was on level with De Bruyne in some of the passes he can play. I've only seen De Bruyne do that, and I'm just like, wow,
So
Kane is
especially
unreal.
for Russia, yeah. But I feel like he can. Xerxes has the ability to do it. It just needs more experience with it. So I wouldn't be surprised that if he goes somewhere else and he's like in his mid 20s, late 20s, that he's doing that. I would not be surprised. But
Yeah, I mean, Kane was doing it in the Prem as well. You know, like
right,
Kane's a monster. So this is the second goal, the winner that we score, and this goal was so quick. Even the camera, like people in real time, couldn't adjust quick enough to this. This is obviously the replay, and I don't think anybody is ready for this. I felt sorry for Henderson. I don't think he was set. I don't think the wall was set. Mason Mount isn't even set, right? The only one that is like planning is like knows what they're doing is Bruno. So you can see, and I'm gonna pause it. Like Mason Mount, like the ball's gone. Mason Mount is like, you want me to hit this? Henderson's body weight is shifted on the left hand side. You know, he's still trying to get to where he wants in the goal. Um, and yeah, it flies in, but I just found it funny how even Mason Mount wasn't ready because his body position is completely off in this angle, and then when he strikes it, he just strikes it really well on target in between the gap of the wall. That's a terrible wall, and it goes in. And happy to see Mount score, man. Like it was good to see him score. What did you think of that set piece?
set
Ole, ole.
LA 10 goals, tie with Arsenal.
We're tied.
Yeah, 10-10 in set piece goals. Come on. That's why I said when you was like we're second. I was like, no, we're tied with first.
Oh my god. I don't like that though. I don't like the fact that we're tied with first in set pieces. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, but let's be real. The banter club is Arsenal because they can't score from open play. The quick point I want to make about this is like, Michael, if you're listening to us, Mason Mount plays for Manchester United. This is your another weekly reminder that he plays for us. And two, both goals, we talked about it. I talked about it when in the intro, like we switched tactics to go out on the flank. We were getting fouled on the flank, and the set pieces are coming from the flanks. So shout out to that change. Shout out to Crystal Palace for being agitated to go do it. So shout out to them. But no, this is a good set piece, good goal, and hey, we got 3 points and we saw it the game out because this is what 63 minutes. We saw the game out for like 20 something extra minutes because it was like 5 extra minutes of at a time. Yeah,
Yeah.
about an extra half an hour. Yeah, extra half an hour. We closed this game out. This game maybe last year or under Ten Hag, especially when after like the first season, has probably been a draw or we'd have let Pals come back and probably win 3-2. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just looking at the table and so we're like joint fourth with a few teams
right,
on goals scored. Goals against. Oh my, we have conceded so many goals.
not like Liverpool,
We've conceded the same amount of goals as Liverpool.
but we're still on
Like we have a one goal difference, but if you look at everyone above us, it's significantly less.
Oh yeah, another thing too we like to point out: 21, 20, 21 is incoming.
Oh man, I didn't realize it, man. I
Yeah,
didn't
and that's
realize.
why this is like a positive. Like, yes, we shot ourselves in the foot with with Everton, right? But let's be fair that we're only 3 points back from Champions League quote unquote spot, and then what is it? Champions League spot, and then what? 4 points back from second place.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I still think fifth place is gonna be enough for Champions League, dude.
we'll see. But I want higher. I'm telling you, 21 incoming. Let's go. Let's go.
Uh,
Oh man, let's just go. So thank you again, Ali, for going down, breaking down the clips. Basically the stats that I wanted to talk about was basically the formation of Liverpool of Everton and Crystal Palace. Basically, like we were talking before, Palace tend to be playing together. Their two midfielders are essentially line in line, while United again everybody likes to complain about Bruno and Casemiro playing stuff, but again, Casemiro is further back to the pitch playing that one, and Bruno's ahead in the advance role. And then one thing was pressing was that our pressing ability for Palace, we pressed them about 9.4. So again, that's like they get 9 passes in before we press, and then for Everton we press at five something. So we press every 5 passes, then we press, but that's kind of expected with 10 men. So that's basically the key stats I wanted to just basically show and talk about. But I think to like wrap up the episode and stuff, like we said, we've seen Anderson, Mr. Anderson. We've seen Wharton. We've seen Baleba, right? I saw a tweet of like their uh what's the favorite rating tool? I forgot the name of it. But basically, their score. So against United, Morton had a 7.3, Anderson had an 8.5 and a star, and then Baleba had a 6.1. So I think you've explained it clearly when we were talking about Wharton that you see him as a number 8, right? Not a true 6, because there was a tweet from the United Puppeteers where it's like Adam Warden passed the test as well. Not as the same way as Anderson, who is an elite all around athlete and footballer, but what Wharton lacks is pace and power, but makes it up with intelligence. Yeah, elite intelligence seems to always know where to be while impossible to impress. Okay, so with that being said, and what we have seen, right? We have to pick two out of the three. I'm going to cheat and say two out of the three. And before your rationale, I just want you to let me know who's the six, who's the eight out of the two out of the three, and then I'll give you mine, and then I'll tell you the reasons why, and then we can go off the debate after that.
Good. Look, I mean, Anderson has to play, right? And based off of your analysis on the Forest game and the numbers that you've shown, he had the exact same numbers as Casemiro, right? See, I if I had unlimited money, like I like Baleba. I like Baleba's mobility. I think the potential is there. But right now, I'm buying Anderson and I'm buying Wharton. Wharton to me is like Carrick. That's my comparison of Wharton. Like he's not pacey, but he like can dictate the game from a deeper position or from like the midfield. So yeah,
Okay, I'll take that answer. So I would take Anderson as an 8, and I would take Baleba as the 6. Because,
yeah,
and the reason why I go with that is because I want somebody who has, as playing a number 6, to be athletic, can run back, break a pass up, and progress the ball forward. And then I want
Yeah.
an all around number eight, box to box, hard nosed. And that's what I'm getting with Anderson. And Valeba can do it. He's not showing it this season in terms of breaking it up and stuff, whatever reason, right? But I think he has the ability and would fit in. Because, like I said before, with Wharton, I agree. He's press resistant. He's intelligent with the pass. I'm going to cheat and say that he's playing. I haven't seen him played as like that one solo person in that 6 or 8 role, whatever you want to put him, right? But he's never played like that solo. He always has like a helper in the Palace system. So that's why it's like he doesn't have you know mobility. He doesn't have pace. He doesn't have the power, right? That I don't want him as a six, right?
But
If Anderson,
Anderson can play.
the
Anderson's best position. Anderson's a bit like Rice, right? Like his best position is probably box to box, right? But for England, actually no, I don't know. But for England, doesn't he play? Doesn't Rice go forward and Anderson sits?
yes, but it's like,
So you could have Anderson sitting and Wharton.
but I feel like we yes, but then it's like I feel like Wharton. No, sorry. I feel like Anderson would be a better, well-rounded six because, like, when you talk about somebody who can go box to box, right? Because you've talked about this in the past, like we needed Declan Rice, right? And I'm not saying that Anderson is the next Declan Rice. Okay, not going that far out crazy, but you like Declan because he's not a true number six. He's more of a box to box, and he said it that himself. I saw one of his interviews leading up to um, the Chelsea game. He's like, I forgot who whether they were asking, but he was like, "Oh, it's nice to see, but I'm more of a box to box, going back to back instead of sitting and playing as the six, right, in front of the defense." I feel like if we are going to ask Anderson to do that, as sit in front of the center backs, playing the six, breaking up the passes, whatever, I feel like we're going to have the tweets later on in life about we're playing Anderson out of position. He's more of an eight than a six. And it's
Yeah.
causing imbalance within the team, blah, 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 blah. I can see all the freaking accounts go off on that. Okay? So that being
And
said,
Baleba is the most athletic and agile, pacey out of all of those three. So I definitely get your point, bro. One of my favorite things about watching, I think one of the most underrated things is being able to pass between the lines. And I think out of the three of them, one has the most ability to do that. And it's natural to him. Like
right.
Anderson can spray the long passes. For me, I don't see long passes as like a harder skill because normally when you hit a long pass, you got time on the ball. But with Adam Morton, like he's the clips are shown, like there's pressure around him and he's hitting these first time on the left, on the right. I see your point.
Yeah.
Anderson is probably you're getting the most value from Anderson.
Right, and I think, and I've seen him when we played against United. He can do the lines. He can go from side
He's
to
only had
side.
one good season though. Like Wharton has played well for like at least 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, but again, I don't think he's the right fit for United for what we need. Because I feel like again, you're going to get overrun in the midfield if you have him as like the quote unquote natural successor to Casemiro. Like that's why I'm trying to like
Yeah.
say that Ineos is cheap and all that kind of stuff. You can only bring in one midfielder. We need two, but if you had to bring one out of the three in, because they say like Casemiro's done, but we're gonna keep Bruno for one more season.
Yeah.
Who is going to be that player next to
Oh, it
him?
have to be Anderson.
It has to be
I
Anderson, right?
wouldn't spend 100 million on Anderson.
I wouldn't spend it either, and I feel like that number's gonna come
What
down.
what would you spend on Anderson?
50 to 60 up top, and then
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, I would say
20,
60
20 to 25 on add-ons. But they have to be like
pounds.
yes, pounds. You're
There's
looking at
no way.
75 to 85. But when you staggered the add-ons, I don't think. It's like winning the league is like an extra £5.
Five.
Champions
Oh,
League.
okay. All right.
We're not talking about like 25 25 million over 3 seasons, that type of thing. Like
Right.
if we're doing like the football manager slash like FIFA, doing a transfer and then doing the installments, right? 50 to 60 down right now, 10 ish, 15 for the next
That's
three
as much as I
years.
would do. Yeah.
Yeah, for the next three
Ballon d'Or,
years,
extra mil, like
right? And then all those up for an extra 10 to 15,
what?
give or take.
What would you?
Wharton, 30 to 40 down, an extra 10 to 20
Bro, you're
over 3 years.
doing my boy Wharton dirty, bro.
How much you want for him? You think he's 75? Anderson's going for
I think
100.
Wharton is 50 million starting.
You know what? With the English tax, fine, 15 million. Fine, with the English tax, 15 million, but no more than
They said
75 with
100 million or
add-ons.
80, 90 million for Baleba, bro.
Yeah, but Brighton's idiots because they think that we're Chelsea. They think we have an open checkbook to give to Chelsea. Like
Yeah.
Chelsea, man. And in Baleba, I think you're gonna have to discount this bad season. That if you're gonna charge me 100, you're going to have to cut me like 30 to 40. So you're looking at 60. I would give about 30. I would give about 30 to 40 up front, and then the rest in installments. Like again, I'm keeping to the same thing. 30 to 40 up front, 10 to 15 like over installments, and if you want extra money, it's going to be like winning the league, Champions League, etc.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
That's my thing. But
Yeah.
the two that I
Yeah.
would do is Anderson and Baleba.
See, that makes more sense. You are convincing me. Yeah.
Because we
I
could,
want
like
to
I
see
said,
Wharton. I want to see Wharton in a United shirt, man.
if you tell me that you're gonna get a better number six, like if you told me, right, that you're gonna go poach at Halal Madrid, you're gonna get Tukameli or Camavinga. Let's say one of them drops out, and you telling me that one of them gonna come in as the six, right? And you spend your Anderson money on that type of like number six player, then you could go get Wharton. I don't care about Baleba. Get me Wharton because then I can fit him in that eight, and he
Yeah.
can do all the nice passes,
You
be
see,
press resistant.
Wharton at Man City will cook. He
He
would
probably could.
cook. He would cook, man. Yeah.
He would cook, and that's not they have Nico, they have Gonzalez. Well, not Gonzalez, sorry, Nico, or Roger gets a new set of legs.
But they're
That
both
they're fine with
sixes.
six. Yeah,
They're
exactly.
both
They're fifth
sixes.
sixes, and then you could play Wharton as the eight. That's what I'm trying to say. Is like I see all the names and the hype and stuff, but it's like what actually fits in this midfield too. Like we've seen it over and over again. It's going to be a 3-1-4-2 or whatever it's he's going to play the center midfielder, sorry, center defensive midfielder in that one. Who's the best number one there? Athletically, and what we've seen in terms of gaps, etc., is Baleba the most athletic out of the one of them. If you have to plug and play for one season, fine, Anderson. But I don't feel like your plug and play is Wharton in that six.
I don't think so either. Yeah, I think he'll get overrun.
Right. We won't
Yeah.
solve any of the midfield issues. He'll play nice and stuff, and then we're going to get hear the comments of he's playing out of position, yada yada yada. He
Yeah.
needs like a helper, and this and that.
I'm very impressed by Addison. I saw him at Newcastle and I was just like, this guy's so average. So it's
Hey,
kind of
financial fair
crazy.
play, got him the free play that he needed. Because I can't
Yeah.
believe they all just like here, we'll give you 50 million for him, you give us 40 million for here, and stuff to check out the financial fair play.
Yeah,
That
he's
if
so
that's not
sad.
collusion, I don't know what is.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna cost so much money, Anderson, bro. So much money.
Like I said, like
Well, all
what
right. Well, what would you rather do? Would you rather just get Anderson, right, one player, or Wharton and a number six, but it's not Baleba. It's someone that's like unproven, but is a number six. What would you rather have?
The first option. I don't want an unproven so far because that doesn't
But
help
you
us.
don't know, man. You don't know. It might be like someone that could do the job. And
You
you have
know,
Wharton.
you know what? Okay,
A
post.
100 million, right? They say Anderson's 100 million, right? Let's just say that, right? One you can get for 50, and you can get another 50 million, same quality but different position. You got
For
two for
six.
one, or you have the
One
chosen
for
one. What are you doing?
Mr. So I would do the latter. I would do 50 for Wharton and the somebody else because you know what I feel like? I feel that outside of what's his name, Dan Ashworth's signings, like the first season, I feel like they're mostly hits under Ineos in terms of the scouting. I feel like they're mostly hits. Like I'm very impressed with some of the signings that they've done, and what they have the Colombian who they just signed, the 17-year-old
Oh
Christian Arroyo.
yeah.
They view him as like that, you know, center
Well, we
defense.
signed Kone as well. Like we don't know
Right.
what he's doing.
Well, he's been injured,
Yeah, he's been injured.
but also
So
I don't view him as a six. I kind of view him as an eight.
yeah, that's what they say as well.
Right. Because he can do box to box and he's press resistant from what I've heard. But it's like that number six. So if you're like you telling me you're going to find like a younger version of Casemiro for 50 million, if you're finding a younger version of Casemiro, Tukamende, or Camavinga for 50 million, and you put him as that six, then I would take the six and Wharton for that 100 million that I could spend on Anderson. Because also trying to be more practical in terms of like what should work for the team. But
And
if you
it's
had,
like squad depth as well. Our squad depth, okay, it's fine for this season, but the
but when you
drop
make
off is
Europe,
so
yeah,
bad. And
right,
I'm, dude, I'm not. Arsenal are just crazy. They're
sports center,
just so stacked. Like City aren't even that stacked. So I'm just like, maybe
you
I'm
know
trying to
what?
rush the process a bit too much because
But just
we
look
got
how
to.
long but look how long Arsenal had. So you can't compare it. You know,
I
we're
know I
not there
can't
yet.
compare it, and
We're
like
not there yet.
I told you at the end of like their successful cycle is probably when we're gonna begin our
Correct.
success cycle. I think that's
Correct.
probably what's gonna happen. We
Correct.
need to take like they've done it well. It's the same way City stacked up in two in every position. But they
Right.
were going against Liverpool. Liverpool
Right.
didn't have two in every position, but City
Right.
did, and look what happened. So you
So you
know,
want to hear? You want to hear something funny? So my current football manager save, I actually got Stiller, Anderson, Wharton, Baleba, and yeah, I got all of them. I was doing like 30 million down, and then giving them
my
like almost
God.
100 million in add-ons for 3 years. I'm sorry, and Yao Gomez. Okay,
Okay.
so I got all of that. So what usually happens as my true starters, and I play in the same formation. I play 3-2-4-1. So I have Stiller and Baleva as my starters. Stiller plays as a deep line playmaker, and Baleva is a ball winning defender. Then for like the B team, Yao Gomez is the ball winning defender. Wharton is the deep line playmaker. And then I have actually Anderson in the 10 role
Oh
as
wow.
one of the 10. He get like five, I don't know, but then that's like he did get like about like 6 and 10 for me.
Oh wow.
And when Stiller got injured, Stiller in the save got injured. So then it was Baleba, and then I had Anderson as a box to box, and then he still did well in that role. And I actually do have like the connection there. So I actually got all of them, and it's like I'm trying to figure out which is which and how they work. So
Wow.
but I see I did not bring in my football manager bias into this
Oh
because I
my
could say
God.
Stiller because Stiller is
He's rumored, right?
he's rumored exactly, but
So
and that's again that's a summer.
so Zhao Gomez and Wharton over Anderson.
in the midfield, but I have Anderson as a
No, no, no. In real life.
in real life. I could do that, especially for this season. Yes, I can do that for this season. I
Oh,
mean,
there's no way we're getting Wharton. Yeah, Palace are trying to win the. I mean, they're not doing well in the
in the summer,
competition.
in the summer, in the summer. I mean,
In the summer, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think we,
no,
we
in the
could
summer.
get João Gomez. Like, I haven't. I'm not really too impressed by him, but
No, but he's a good squad player to have, and
yeah,
it's
and I
better,
think like for now, like
right,
30 million, I'd pay 30 million for him.
right. Because I do get recommended for Ederson from Atalanta. I do
Oh
get
yeah.
Andre, but it's like it's not proven quality just yet. And I feel like whether Gomez plays or not in real life, I feel like he's a starter. I feel like he's a good player to have, and that's like the quality goes up. It's like pretty much
Yeah.
like what Ugarte is supposed to be.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, well, we're gonna get money when we sell Ogate. Like, we'll get 25, 30 million.
I'm pretty sure Madrid wants to do the swap with Gallagher and him at the end of the day.
Well,
I'm
I'd
pretty
be
sure
down
that's
for
what they
that.
want to do at the end of the day.
I'd be down for that. Yeah. Kobe, free
Free Kobe,
Kobe,
that's all we're gonna do now? Yeah.
bro. You see him in the last game? It's all over social media.
Yeah, I
That
know.
he looks depressed.
And that's why I'm saying to you that, he should not put your club over country, not country over club right now.
I think he just wants to play, man. I don't even think he's thinking of England. I do not think he. I don't think. I don't think he gets over Anderson and Wharton, even if he's playing
Right.
back at the
Again,
Liverpool.
right. West Ham or some crap.
Yeah, that's just not. He just doesn't suit a two-man midfield.
Right.
Like that's how England want to play.
Right.
No.
So that's who I want for my midfield. I think I try to convince you to the dark side in terms of our so
But
far
then
who's
I convinced you.
that is true. If money is a cost, if money is a
Money
cost,
is a cost. Money is always a cost, man. This
yeah, but
isn't
they're
Football
changing.
Manager, bro. We don't got unlimited funds, bro. What I have realized, and I'm the more I see Fernandez play, Bruno play, I'm just like, yeah, he needs to leave. Like,
He
and
doesn't fit the system.
yeah, yeah, I think I'm hoping Portugal win the World Cup, and then he needs to leave. Like,
Goes to Saudi.
yeah,
Give us 100 million.
no,
Balance our books.
yeah,
But Ali, it was a pleasure talking
yeah.
and catching up with this. Um, just as a scheduling event is that we play West Ham on Thursday and then Wolves on Monday. We are going to do another combined video for next week of both the review for West Ham and Wolves. Unless something major happens or anything, we may jump on earlier, but that's our plan with our current schedule. But again, if you like our content, etc., give us a like, drop us a share, subscribe, etc. We really appreciate it. We're trying to bring it for you and have like honestly good tactical conversations because the content is pretty wild out there for clickbait, etc., and nobody focuses on tactics. So we trying to give it to you in terms of tactically how does United talk to us. Anyways, we'll catch you on the flip side, everyone. Have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.